food security. Thank you very much. Eu gostaria de agradecer o convite. É um prazer estar aqui com o ministro da Agricultura, com o presidente da Embrapa, com pessoas representantes do setor privado. Eu não quero falar em portunhol. Eu vou aproveitar que tem tradução e vou falar em espanhol. It's an institution of the American system that has 4 offices in the whole of America. And what we try to do is build bridges among the countries, bridges that have to do with cooperation and international cooperation. We deal with the environment. Our HQ is in Costa Rica, and I am the representative of ICA in Brazil and the coordinator of CAS, which is the table of the ministers of Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Bolivia. And this is a table that gets together periodically along the years with Minister Favaro that summoned this meeting as G20 mark. I'd like to make this presentation because I'd like to mark my conversation with you in what we have in Latin America and Caribbean, but particularly in Consul in America, which is the photosynthetic, most efficient resource in the world. We can combine fertile soil, water, which give us the opportunity to hold a highlighted spot in the market, the world market. We represent 39% of the export in our region. In Latin America as a whole, is the biggest export of food in the whole world, feeding more than 59 million people. We have problems such as poverty, rural poverty, urban poverty. Like Roberto Rodrigo said, we shouldn't make this distinction, but in our region, in such a particular moment in the world, the possibility to tackle urban poverty is a possibility to fight against it. So we have very big challenges related to the climate.
I have a criticism to make to this agricultural sector, which is one of the few sectors that can take this problem with the carbon. We are the main victims, as it was said, about the climate change. The rest of the other sectors must be balanced in solving these problems because they bring us a lot of bad luck in the sector. I believe that we have a lot of opportunities, and to be brief, I'd like to focus in the South region. The problems, the global problems, the climate change, the technological problems, and the environmental challenges have no barriers. Here in America, we have the possibility of having a big position and stand out in carbon and technology, in grain production, and also beef. We also have the possibility of being resilient to many things. And also in the world politics, the topic of fertilizers, Argentina and Bolivia can feed great part of the potassium that we have in Brazil. Argentina and Bolivia have the possibility of feeding or supplying nitrogen. We can also supply Campo Grande to put into action the fertilizers factories that are being built. So I believe that when we have this meeting with the ministers with Mercosur, there are no differences between us. We give our opinion about the decrease, deforestation, about the declarations, about the limits of residue. But no, not because the minister of this region, they don't care about the environment. we believe that the best way to take care of our environment must be adequate, appropriate to our country, not imposed by other countries that don't know our reality. Because talking about the minimum amount of residue, residue, also implies in the change of production of grains and also beef in our region. So that's why it's very easy that this collective action from our countries, and this is the key word, the collective action to defend our system of production and cattle farming, according to our region, which is the kind of work that we are taking ahead to focus on the problems and that we have and that we want. I mean, we don't want to be outsourced. We don't want to outsource the environment. All we want is the responsibility of all the authorities of the region. We want that all of them have the responsibility to live the environment according to our rules. It's very important, the discussion based on science, so that we can put into action. So that's why it's relevant. The role of Embrapa, Apex. Let's discuss many questions like this so that we can have our rules about to talk about Aline from Embrapa and also Paraguay and other institutions because they grow in the private sector. Because these institutions, they are very close to the private sector. Obviously, our time is very short and the time flies. It involves so many things, but the most important theme, which is the productivity and the pillars of sustainability that are related to sustainability, it focuses a lot on these projects. And there is one more thing that I firmly believe, which is very important. There is agricultural in my country, but I believe that the private sector is advancing. The technologies are also advancing. The produce change, they get better, the companies get together and get organized, they work in a better way. So I believe that it's very important to see from the international institutions how we use our offsets because they have to join this growing and also the changes that have been made in technology. We have to run away from the institutions that are getting old, obsolete, because this imbalance. Because if they don't talk together, it's difficult that the pillars of sustainability are still being balanced and keeping in a healthy way in this triangle. And I insist, we are in a world where trading is being divided in blocks. Talk money in terms of money, not necessarily they tend to attend what we did in the 90s with multilateralism. But capitalism we have next door neighbors and partners. This is a description of reality. I'm not judging. I believe that in this moment, the world should strengthen, get together, and but the most important is to negotiate better, to negotiate the sanitary protocols and improve the market and bring prosperity to our countries. This is